The Golden Feather is a historical romance novel first written in 1943. It's about 400 pages long. The Harlequin edition is 250 pages long. I wonder what they cut out. That's over a third of the book. Argo Font Book Review. Argo Font Book Review. Before I start this review, I want to warn my viewers that this book contains sexual content which is not appropriate for children. The book takes place in the year 1637, and I wish it had a historical index or something, because there's a fair amount of political talk about people I've never heard of before. Our main characters are the Stacy brothers. They are rich, good-looking men who spend all their time hunting, drinking, and having sex with random women. When they get bored of a particular mistress, they kick her out of the house and immediately replace her with another woman. I would like to think the Stacys would be the villains if this book was written today. Ajax is slightly better than Gerald because he cares about the political drama. That means he occasionally focuses on something other than sex. He also comes across as less of a pervert because the book needs to keep him single at the moment so there can be a big love triangle later on. One day, Gerald is in a bad mood because his mistress Matilda left him without warning. We later learn Matilda left because she was pregnant, and she is forced to work in a brothel to avoid starvation. Gerald figures she deserves it because she minorly inconvenienced him a few months ago. Gerald is a terrible human being. Gerald walks around the estate angrily when he comes across the 6-year-old Princess Mary. She's stuck in a tree. Gerald helps her down. He's such a womanizer, he can't help but use his seduction skills on Princess Mary. She's 6 years old, you pervert! He knows it's wrong to trick the princess into thinking they'll be together forever, but he just can't help himself. The royal family sends Lady Charlotte Ponsonby to fetch Princess Mary. Gerald seduces her too. Seduce is not the right word to use to describe what he does. He stares at a certain body part for a disturbingly long time, and without saying anything, they go upstairs to have sex. Princess Mary is heartbroken that another woman has stolen her beloved. Her heartbreak grows worse later on, when she sees Gerald and Charlotte starting to have sex in the garden. Yeah, they have sex right in front of the princess, in public. It's gross. It's terrible. Gerald and Charlotte carry on an affair for about half a year. It's hard to tell how serious it is, because she has other boyfriends, and he only visits her occasionally. On the way home one day, Gerald sees a lovely woman named Clarissa. She's so beautiful, he instantly falls in love. He wants to seduce her, but he restrains himself. All he does is ask for a rose. In his mind, not seducing a woman right away counts as true love. Gerald starts plotting ways to get rid of Charlotte so he can be with his new love Clarissa. This leads to a scene that I do not understand. Gerald purposely sets things up so his brother Ajax will meet Clarissa. Ajax instantly falls in love with her. Remember, Gerald wants Clarissa for himself. How does setting up Clarissa with his brother help with that? Lady Charlotte has bad news. King Charles and Archbishop Laud are furious with her because of the whole having sex in front of the princess thing. They are firing her and stripping her of her title. The only way to save Charlotte's reputation is if she and Gerald get married. Gerald refuses. He says he would have married her if she had asked him 2 weeks ago. I have serious doubts that's true, but if it is, it's kind of tragic. They would have lived happily ever after if not for the king's weird sense of timing. Why did the king wait 5 months to punish Charlotte anyway? I feel like it should be pointed out that Gerald and Charlotte have been lovers for months, while Gerald has only met Clarissa once. They talked for less than a minute. But Gerald is sure he likes Clarissa better, so he has no problems walking away from Charlotte, dooming her to live in poverty and shame for the rest of her life. Charlotte's life completely implodes. She is forced to sell everything she owns, but it's not enough money, and she is found dead by a river within a month. So when Gerald rejected Charlotte, he literally doomed her to death. Before she dies, Charlotte gets revenge on Gerald. She pretends she got an emergency note from her brother saying to meet at Puddle Wharf before midnight. She begs Gerald to go in her place. This is a trick, so he'll be caught and arrested by the police for being on a ship without sailing papers. Gerald's almost caught by the police. They recognize him by the golden feather he always wears in his hat. When King Charles learns what happens, he banishes Gerald to the colony of Virginia, although he pretends it's a reward. "Congratulations! I bought you a new house. It's on the other side of the world and you have to live there now. Bye!" Ajax becomes even more involved in political events after this. He helps lead a march against the war in Scotland. The demonstration turns into a riot and several people are killed. Ajax worries he'll be arrested, so he decides to move to Virginia until the political unrest has ended. Clarissa visits. She's terrified because she heard the riot, and she's also scared of how Charlotte was killed. Ajax is torn because he loves Clarissa with all his heart. Again, he's only talked to her once, and that was, a month ago? Yeah. Anyway, Ajax is torn because he loves Clarissa with all his heart, but he hates that she prefers his brother. Ajax forces her to have sex with him in exchange for his protection. That's the end of part 1. There are still 230 pages left in the 400-page book, but I think I've read enough. I skimmed the last page of the book. Spoiler alert, it ends with Ajax and Clarissa getting together after Gerald's death. The author's note at the start of the book explains she did a ton of research to make this story as accurate as possible. She did a good job on that front, and I will give the book a point for all the historical accuracy. The author's note says in 1619, England sent 90 women to Virginia as wives for the colonists. Wives cost 3 young goats, or 120 to 150 pounds of tobacco, which is about $1,500 today. They did the same thing next year with 60 women. I kind of wish that had been the main story of this historical romance novel. I'd probably like it better than watching Gerald be a pervert and selfishly ruin people's lives for little reason. I know Harlequin does historical romance novels today. This one could be rewritten to suit modern audiences. It wouldn't take too much to turn Gerald into the villain, while making Ajax the hero who helps save Charlotte. Or maybe Gerald could have a change of heart when he learns he has a son. Overall, I didn't like this book. It's a romance novel where the main characters are disgusting, terrible people who force themselves on women. I have no regrets about stopping 42% of the way through the book. I do not need to read the rest. I give Harlequin number 31, The Golden Feather, a 1 out of 10. Special thanks to the Library of Virginia for loaning me their copy of the book so I can read it.